Hi, this is Mia. Sunday, I did, I'm gonna cry because I just had to charge some, items for, office space, because I don't have access to my other items at this time, mainly because of COVID and mainly because of the bulkiness of the item. I like the Earthlight massage table. I had got one, in 2009. I feel like it was at least 400 something dollars. It might have been 300 something, but that was a long time ago. So the prices of those would have been higher or lower than now. But they're selling out all the cheaper ones, and the cushions. You add a little bit more cushion, you got about 100, 200, 300 extra dollars added to that. You have the stool. If you guys know, I've been sitting on this kid's chair. You can hear it creak. It's an old wooden school chair. And it's kind of like my height. I feel like my knee do go up a little bit. I feel like it hurts when I sit in the chair in my other room in the house. Hurts like a adult size kitchen table chair that's like metal with cushion. It doesn't hurt my back of my legs, which is one thing that irritates me. This other chair, my boyfriend's place, my legs literally can. You ever watch that big comfy couch show where she's like sitting on the big couch? Like it's like my legs can stick out straight with my feet like that. It's irritating. It's not a lot of walkway. If I put a pillow behind me and sit up, I can put my knees over like this, but then they're dangling from the floor. So I am trying to decide. I wanted to get an Earthlight folding stool, and I feel like it'd be similar to this chair, but 19 inches, I believe. So what, 2.5 feet. It's not flexible. It does fold up and has a handle and is wooden. This place that I'm going to use sublease from somebody has mice in it, and so I'm pretty concerned right now because I don't think it's hard to get rid of any type of vermin. And they said, oh, it's probably just on that side. I'm like, oh, great. And the door has a crack under it, so if you had something in that one room that can get in and out through the cracks in the walls or the ceilings or the floors, it'd be isolated mostly for the time being if there was not such a big gap. I don't know why they have such a big gap on the door, but I wanted to do this in Washington State and I did not. And I really tried to look last summer when I was in Tacoma. There was the shared office space. I think it's one of those. It's either a subscription or pay as you, like join the club and pay as you need to for rooms. I was really adamant about, I believe I used the right word, about wanting an elevator, handicap accessible, or ramp, first floor, handicap parking. The one in Tacoma, the streets were like this. I'm trying to walk up and down the street looking for a bathroom. Oh my god, I couldn't find one. I don't know where I eventually found a bathroom. It was a 24-hour trip. It was fun. Why? Wait, was that Tacoma? I'm trying to think. Why was I? So I went up there to do German speaking. I don't know. I was by myself. So I didn't go to Seattle by myself. I'm sure it's Tacoma. I must have gone to the event and then gone and drove around. And then because I was fed up with my kids and the guy I was dating. Like, oh, you want to come over? He's just using me in intimate time. Being poor. And people don't always. When I want to hang out, the guys are just like, oh no, I don't feel like it. But when they want to hang out, I would jump and go. Does anyone else do that? Whether you're male, female. I was at a McMinimans. And I didn't see a public bathroom, and I was too afraid to ask. I don't know. I should have just asked and said that I had already. I don't know. I don't know where I ended up. But I really want some raw food products. The raw food products from LA or shipping is too expensive, and you can only get their set. My foot is itchy. You guys remember me talking about having an itchy foot? Ugh. And that's one spot. It's one patch on my skin. I don't know if I thought I got bit by a bug, but the thing is, if you start scratching it, it gets raised and turns dark brown. And I literally had to duct tape my foot to stop scratching on it because it was getting nasty. I know better than to make a wound, but it was sensitive. I don't know what, like sensitive to scratching too. Anyways, I am wanting to help my partner because there are some crappy things with his housing situation, and so I need to get online and figure something out. Like, I don't have to do it. It's kind of fun though. And I had a list. You guys heard me talk about housing for my boyfriend, housing for me and my kids, clinic space, all of that stuff was a huge thing in the beginning of summer and like spring, summer to try to figure out. And I made a list, and we thought we were going to get a certain amount of money. I always think I'm going to get this Medicaid incentive. I haven't gotten it, like the real one, since. I feel like they're screwing me over, but hey, if I didn't get one email or I didn't check a box that said medication reconciliation, there was no medication reconciliation because this person wasn't on meds and they had already been my patient, but I hadn't seen them for like a year, and I don't know. And then the EHR program that I use and pay $99 a month, they won't let you, for this EHR, it's like January 1st to December 31st. I did a reporting period here. They're like, see if you can find another 3-month period, 90-day period, that your qualification, that all of the checks got checked off, all the boxes get checked. And this EHR was like, you can't go back more than so many days. So I'm basically screwed. I could say January, I could go back 20 more days before the one that I did and get money over $8,000. But these fools have cost me every year. I went to go and fix and check. I might be wrong, but I didn't even get a chance to see the reports. And I ran the reports, and I tried to run other reports, and it's like, you can only run one. This will be done in 24 hours. They wait 24 hours, wait the weekend, call them. Nobody understands what I'm talking about. So there's something wrong with your computer. There's not something wrong with my computer. There's something wrong with you guys. And your employees don't understand this, and you're overcharging. So I'm going to try to switch to Charm. I heard their customer service sucks. But I cannot. This is the place that I belong to. I'm a low volume. I don't even know if I have 20 patients, literally, for the past 5 years, and they're all the same patients. Once every year, I might get 1 or 2 additions. But it's basically because someone had a baby, or somebody's adding their partner, or, a grown-up child, something like that, where it's not anyone from the wild, no one from an advertisement. So I'm dealing with this situation where I just charged this money and I haven't received a dime. I'm trying to work. My rent with me and my kids went off the charts high. And I'm just like so angry because I'm basically begging people for jobs everywhere. Here, there, everywhere, Washington, Oregon. If I have my license to do stuff remotely in Maryland, if I have credentials to do stuff, even doula nationwide, birth plans, all this stuff. And so I'm ticked off because I'm not able to work. I'm saying my income is certain net. My gross is a negative number, and I just feel like I just I feel like God is being humored by my struggle. Not that that's like, I don't know if it's sadistic. That's like a sinister thought. It's like God is being like, oh, I really have to have some faith here. I really have to have some faith, hope, trust, patience. So I went to the virtual Quaker meeting last week, and we're supposed to be meditating. In person, it's an hour, unless someone feels moved to share out loud. Here, or online, it's 40 minutes of silent meditation, unless someone feels moved to share out loud. Last week, someone's like, oh, can I get your name, number, and address? Like, yeah. And then someone else like, who are you? I don't recognize you. And it was like, excuse me, I was attending for like 6 months, or maybe it's less than 6 months, with the person whose ancestors have been, I probably did say, like, I've been attending with someone whose ancestors have been here since 1600, so don't be giving me a hard time. So you're to talk to Frederick Douglass, maybe, like that. You're to talk to Harriet Tubman, supposedly attended this place, maybe they would give him a hard time, but I'm like, river churches I've been going to is hardly any black people, and like, wow, nobody says, how old white people, oh, what do we happen to that little black girl that was in here, you know how people talk. So and we had gone around 2-3 times and introduced, everybody stood up and said who they are and where they live or where they're from, Portland, Oregon, boyfriend's family's been here. And it's like, when the in-person meetings went away, I had nobody contacting me. Someone contacted my partner because they kept taking him off as a member, which is rude. But I forgot to buy deodorant. I feel like I was like, oh yeah, people don't remember. This guy's like, oh, I don't remember you. I was like, yeah, that's not uncommon. And I don't remember reading the book Invisible Man because I probably didn't read it cover to cover like I was supposed to in college. And I had, even if I'm stating it wrong, what it's about, I feel invisible as a black person. You're just a shadow. You're not even treated as a human. You're not even treated as like an entity, like a being, human being. You're treated as a afterthought or a smudge, oh gosh, there's a smudge on your white car, did somebody's tire hit that? You don't like it. It's not fun. It's not comfortable. It's not smooth and white. And it's really hard because, I was going into a place and there was Hispanics working and they're all looking, and I'm like, oh my God, they're staring at us. And I'm looking at them, trying to see where they're painting. So I was like, I kind of dressed kind of nice that days because I didn't want to be sloppy, which I'm sloppy even when I dress nice. So you try to make it a little bit more effort. And I went into the place and I felt like comfortable to say, hi, how's it going? But I felt way more comfortable with the workers who I feel like get paid this much than the managers and the healthcare practitioners that I had to talk to. I felt very small, and I felt like I don't want to talk to them. And it's not that I don't feel like, hey, my name is Mia, I'm a doctor, I am also this and this and this, I have this experience, but I really want to give myself to the world so that I can help change the world one person at a time, be the change you want to see in the world, and I feel like I didn't really play that game, I think, at Chuck E. Cheese where they hit the little gophers or whatever, but it's more like a tent peg. It's like I get down, 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 down until you're buried and you're like pushed down there. How easy is it for you to pull and the clay, you leave it at tent. We left the tent out there for like a month. You try to pull those suckers out. There's like clay and compact and wet and dry and heat, and you're like, oh my god, I can't barely, the mallet does have like a hook on it. I guess that's what it's for. I was thinking of it to hang it up. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you get beaten down, and it's way easier to beat that down with society than it is to pull yourself up. It's like being in quicksand in this world. And I haven't been outside of this country, so I wanna change and pray and cry at the same time. I believe it's Netflix, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember. But I told you guys I watched Lucky Lou, or Lou, Leave Everything and Wander. There were Spanish, no, they weren't Spanish. They were Italian, Italian couple. I forget their names offhand right now. They have a lot of clickbait where the woman's in, you can see her cleavage, and she has a super skinny waist. There's a lot of clickbait with her in bikinis and stuff. And then the guy has a lot of hair. What are their names? Clickbait. And they, before COVID, wanted to go from the North Arctic Circle somewhere up Canada through the U.S. and through Mexico, Central America, and South America towards the equator. So they wanted to go from here to here. And they were able to do it, and they were in Latin America. I don't know where they were when COVID started. I don't know if they're actually in the U.S., but I started watching them when they were way down in South America, and I loved their video. I loved their drone shots. I loved the struggle they went through. I had gone back and watched the older one where they had got robbed. They went to a hotel to print something or something. Or did they actually spend the night? They went to a hotel to do something. I think they did spend the night so they could take a shower and use the internet and use the regular bed and, facilities. And I was crying with him, and that one's the older one. Because they had their drones and their cameras, and they luckily had at least one of their phones and their computer, but they still, I think their thumb drives, whatever, they had stored data on pictures and stuff. But anyways, it was horrible because it's like they broke into this camper that the hotel manager could park. I was scared that it was like, oh yeah, what if one of the workers like, oh, these people are in a hotel, now is the time to ransack their stuff. But sometimes I wish that I could get money doing what I love, but I have to ask the earth, ask God, or tell God and the earth what I actually love, or what I like, or what I think I'll like. But I watched them have to deal with the embassy to try to get a plane ticket back to Italy. And they had to sell their vehicle. They were taking care of pets at a campground. There's checkpoints because it was COVID, no travel, but they were needing to go to a city and be within 2 hours of an airport. And they had seen some airline, maybe $1,000 each or something, and then it jumps up to what, $2,000 each. The price gouge, and it's like you would get a ticket, but it would be tentative, but then you couldn't use a cell phone to buy the tickets because you'd get blocked at the end for some reason. So they would have to contact their relative, their brother, the guy's brother back home or whatever, to order the tickets. But there's no guarantee that you'll have the ticket, and I think they double booked too. So you could have sold all your stuff, got a rental car, showed up at the airport, and still not got in. But I think the first time they didn't get the ticket, and then they're trying to beg the airline to take another. There was hundreds of people. I don't know if they prioritize women and children or people with children or not. But they kept their cool, and they told us that they kept their cool, and that they had the place that they were staying. They were using the showers. The water was cold, and they turned the hot water on, and then they were there for a while. They were at a beach, and the police said, "Get out of this vacant beach." It was not a campground, and it was public land, but they said, "You can't be here camping. You need to go to a private property. You're not allowed to do this." Even though they were isolated, it was beautiful. It was a waterfront beach. And they ended up having the tenant or the owners of the campground, they were the only ones at the campground, and they had to get a police escort to go to grocery shopping and stuff because they weren't necessarily locals quarantining themselves in the town. Not quarantining, but stay-at-home orders, since their home was a truck camper. So they had to get police escorts to town so they wouldn't get in trouble. And I think they needed letters, too, to show that they were, one of the places they were at, they had to get some letters written, maybe from the embassy, so that they could get through the checkpoints and show that they were not sick and that they had permission to travel because it's a stay-at-home order. Anyways, spoiler alert, now's the time to stop or fast forward. And all of a sudden, you see them at airport, tired, and then they're in Italy, and then they go to their house, and the woman has a little VW 2-door that they uncover, and it starts right up. I think they were gone for 2 years. I was like, dang, like she was in the fashion industry. I was like, I wonder if she had breast implants. I wonder if she was like modeling, like maybe if you're not necessarily the model because you're not tall enough, you get it, because she had a cushy job before and he had a cushy job. I don't think he was making a ton of money, but he bought this old house out in the middle of nowhere. They had neighbors, but I think they were vacationers. Like, they had property in the mountains, so there's neighbors scattered, but not like neighbor. So they had gone to their moms or something, one of their relatives, and then they had to quarantine, so they had to go to their... Why do I feel like they had another house? Maybe they just got picked up by the relatives and then got dropped off at their house. So they had all of their groceries. The relatives brought them all their 14 days worth of groceries for quarantine after entering the country. And the house is awesome. It is old European. I don't know if it was stucco with a clay roof or not, but it doesn't matter. It was beautiful. It had a garden. These people bust their butts fixing the house, fixing the crawl utility area, had rat droppings. In water moisture, they fixed the garden and tore out all the weeds, and it was like a layer, like a level, different levels. They showed their summer planning. They did their cooking, mostly vegetarian, I believe. Their coffee, the kind of that's like this. Like, I don't know what it's called, and then it has like this on top. Maybe it's a percolator. Like a different type, I don't know, or it's like a French press or something. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's a percolator, but it's something like that, not just a coffee pot. I saw all this stuff in me active, and then the man went and got his van for when he was doing, was it motorcycle racing or motorcycle sports when he was younger, and it's adorable. It's the cutest little, like, it's almost like, I guess the size of an SUV, but they built that out. I guess they put in a kitchen, a shower that can go outdoors, like outside the sliding door. And then they had to make everything removable. They put like shelving and a bed. It looked claustrophobic, but they're tiny, they're skinny, They put a bed in the kitchen area, storage area, and then the front seats. But when they do their inspection, they would have, if they had to convert from a van conversion to an RV, they would need to go to a city and pay a whole bunch of money and have the strict regulations, so they just want it temporary, so they're able to pull all of that stuff out next time they need to get it checked, which is good, because technically, yeah, if you're going to go on a trip today, you put it together, you could technically take it apart, just like if I were to put blankets and shelves in a Prius or something, Prius camping. But that's good to know. It's good to see people look at their jurisdictions and what you can and cannot do. And, if you're poor, I don't think it's people poor because they have this YouTube channel and whatever other stuff. But sometimes, like, you're poor, you might want to buy and register an RV or a van already built out. But, if you have money, but it's like you're limited to, I'm limited on the type of medical equipment I can get for a clinic that I have no patients. I could sit here right now, just like I am right now, 8 times a day for 30 to 90 minutes each person and make money. The cheapest would be $100, $120 average, and people sucker me into getting less money. Which unfortunately is not good, because you gotta have your internet, your phone, your computer, paying all this stuff off, and you gotta have backup internet, Wi-Fi. You never know. People's internet's going out. I don't have a ring light. I don't have a comfortable chair, and it's like people are getting stand-up desks and stuff. So there's that. To make, you see me here squirming because I'm uncomfortable. I sit in meetings with the camera off because I'm squirming and fidgeting and getting up and sitting down. And people are probably like, oh, that's creepy, she doesn't have her camera on. But it's like, well, I'm taking advantage of my fidgeting time because it was hard to sit in an in-person meeting. I sit and crochet. You saw me probably crochet. People are offended that other people were writing notes in meetings. So say the topic is humility or non-judgment. People were judging people because they were taking notes. And what I found in one of my meetings, that the people say that people will chair and they'll do 1, 2, or 3 readings. And they'll have like this topic with a story, this topic with a story, a couple things from the big book, and then they'll have another topic. That's great. And by the time you hear the 3rd topic, you already forgot about the first and second. So sometimes you just want to be able to, you notice in meetings, if you go to like 12-step, they'll read something, and the chairperson will share on that, the reading, or if it's a step, or if it's a tradition or concept. And then you go around the room, and like there'll be like 7 people, nobody talked about the topic. And then one person will bring up the topic, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like I remember the topic. I was thinking about what I was to say briefly without ignoring everyone. Then they went around the room, and then this person brought up, was like, oh yeah, reminder. And then it gets to me, and I'm like, oh shoot, another 10 people talked about something that wasn't the topic. Now, you don't have to talk about the topic, but I like to, especially being an old timer, because that gets my brain in that repetition of what's the book say, what the steps say. Oh shoot, keep it simple, silly, and just keep it super simple. I don't like the other way. But I feel like now people are like, ooh, like, oh, I can write and nobody can see me write. And then everyone's staying on topic. And then they're just like, well, I wrote down this, what you said then, this is it. But the only thing that creeped me out during meetings when people were writing, I was scared they were like writing who said what. Like if you talked about, oh, it's actually solid, keep, what's said here stays here, here. Like, you gotta be careful what you say, even if it's just a sponsor or confidant, because your business gets, even if someone heard you and kept quiet for 10 years, on that 11th year, they could spread your gossip to one person and can get all around town. And it's not, a lot of it, like for me, is what other people did to me. But people will criticize you if you're sexually assaulted or if you're in an abusive relationship. People will criticize you. Do I care if they criticize me? No. Do I care if it affects my job, my living situation, my housing, my, ability to make friends and have a romantic relationship? Then, it's affecting your life. And that's, I found as people always say, get out of being a victim. And I don't know one of these people. I don't know someone that has been, and this is probably just me, I don't know anyone who's been harmed and sexually assaulted as a child and beaten by their mother. Like, I don't know anyone who's like, get out of victim mode. Like, someone who's had that stuff happen to them, they might, and I might dismiss it, or I might let it go because they know what it's like. But mostly the people that say, if you say, oh my God, you just scared me because it reminded me of something that happened during this time of harm, and they'll be like, you're always playing the victim. They talk about black people trying to play the victim because you're a descendant of a slave. It's not just that. It's what did a descendant of a slave. It's not like ding, 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 ring a bell, you guys. It's not like we're playing some childhood game, heads up, 7-up, who's it? Oh, that person's not anymore. You switch places. No. Or the game's over, it's lunchtime. No, the game is not over. We're still pulling ourselves out of a pit. We're not trying to play victims. When you try to get 200, 250 jobs and not one person hires you, and the people that hire you see your picture when you send it in for your name badge. This happened to me in a volunteer position and a higher job. Send it in for a name badge, and they're printing it up. Then they resend, or they take back, renege on the job. that over the phone before they saw my pictures. You're doing a great job. Oh, we're so desperate for help. Blah 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 blah. And when you have enough like census workers in your neighborhood, those people don't get counted. This is not a political thing. This is not a race thing. This is like your country. You know, people talk about people. It's like I can go to college like I did 17 years, try to get a certain job with that qualification, and somebody who's, you know, taken 3 months of college classes can get paid 3 times more than me at a job with less responsibility at the same place. And I know this is true. You know, that's why a lot of places don't let you talk about how much someone else is earning. But you hear it through the grapevine, or like some places they'll advertise the job, new positions that are similar to yours. That you got your job 2 years ago, no raise, and the new people that are going to hire $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 more an hour. You know what I mean? Occasionally that backfires. If you do make more, they'll hire in new people at less corporate jobs. They'll do as low as they can, which is usually minimum wage. And someone else might have gotten more than minimum wage for the job because it's not easy. You know, they're losing people. They don't want to lose people. Have to retrain people, give people uniforms, give people extra training or trainings and background checks and all that crap. That's time. That's, you know, time is money. They just want people to be loyal. And sometimes people give you just enough for you to be loyal. Like, yeah. But when they do that, your job performance, I feel like, as minimum wage gets closer to your income, it's like your job performance, besides being tired and broke and having to be like, okay, minimum wage is like this now, the price of everything, housing, everything has gone up. You're tired and you got to go get another job. If they paid you a couple more dollars an hour and you're working and you're out picking up extra shifts, then you keep working for the same company and you get better at what you do. But you're gonna have to take other jobs and night jobs, and then then your performance is slacking. Even if you're doing a good job, just the fact that you're fatigued or you're thinking or you didn't have time to iron clothes that you wanted to iron, even if it's not a necessity. But that reflects on them. You know, the more time off you get, if you actually get time off, you know, instead of having to work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, like I was doing, and then to go through that and still make the same amount of money as when you were working 20 hours a week at a job that paid $15 an hour. You're like, that math does not add up. Like, what was I doing? Maybe I was still living off of student loans. Probably stashed some for to pay off. You know, if you want to pay off interest and stuff on your loan, so you can get tax deduction. But it is what it is, you know. It is what it is, and I had told someone on Friday, they were tired. I was like, oh, I'm a doctor, I was working at Pizza Hut, and they were probably like, but it's a white woman who's young and pretty, and I figured, you know, things work out, because I was able to get a tax return, or else you would see me filming from the streets, you know, you would see me uploading this from the library, because I would not have any house. Me and my kids would be, you know, trying to figure it out. They'd probably be fighting because I'd be like, no, keep this crappy holy clothes because I'm going to sell them because we need money. If we had a car, we need money to buy gas and drive to the next place so we don't get towed. You know, I had been there when I lost my job. I literally drove around town on 2015 and I looked at the parking lots. Walmart used to not have a no parking or no overnight parking. Winco didn't. They had a lot of campers out there. Then they started having no overnight camping. Now, what if you just drove all night and freaking had to sleep all day? I mean, you got to resort to what you can. You know, LA or, you know, California has a lot of parking lots now they designate for RV, and not necessarily RV, but van build-outs and cars where people have to sleep in the car with their kids. They have no house, no toilet, no shower. And some of these people have full-time jobs. You see on YouTube, $100,000 a year IT people living in their cars, and because the price of rent, or they have bad credit, or their availability of housing sometimes. You know, do you have a bunch of kids, and you can get on a wait list for public housing? That wait list could be 20 years long, literally. Once you get in there, maintenance and cockroaches, you know, what do you deal with some filth that they won't resolve because you're poor and they don't treat you like a human, because they don't have the resources, because the government, you know, Republican, you know, cutting and threatening Democratic areas, or, you know, people calling stuff socialism. You know, someone's talking about communism, thinking about Russians standing in line waiting for bread. I'm freaking doing that. I've been doing that. I don't even eat bread. And this stuff's basically, as environmentalists, saving it from the trash until it ends up in our trash, because you come home and notice that there's mold all over the bottom. We're taking old, breathed on, touched, you know, stored in some restaurant, including restaurants where people shut down for COVID, donating to poor people. I'm doing that for my loved ones because I can't afford to do it. We don't have the ability to cook the food from scratch. We don't have the necessary items, you know. And so the people that are working say, you know, these people are victims, or they're acting like victims, or they act like they always need something. Sometimes it's like, they're like, why did you have kids if you can't afford to have kids? Well, when I had kids, me personally, I owned a house. I had $14 a year taxes to pay. We filled our propane tank that was, we filled it like once in 2 years. So we had used very little propane for cooking and heating. The house was very small. Repairs could have been increased. We didn't have garbage. We were in West Virginia. We had a very low electric bill. I don't know, was it like $6 a month or $3? It's like the base charge or something. It was like so cheap back then. We didn't have cable. We had dial-up telephone, or that's how we used the internet, was dial-up. So we could have lived in that house and built gardens, and we had our own well. If electricity would have gone off, it would have affected the water pump, which pumped into the bathroom and the kitchen, and it would have affected the refrigerator. The oven was propane, the oven stove, and the heater was propane, and then we had a hand well with a bucket. So we were getting drinking water out of there anyways and boiling it to sterilize it. So we could have lived for $14 a year to keep the house, you know, to sit there and boondock, or I guess not boondock, but live off the land, which is what I wanted to do. The situation did not help. The people in my life did not help. Basically, I could have helped myself, but the people in my life made promises to fix up the house and do this, and we needed a fence, and had the children, and my pets all got hit by cars, and we basically gave the house away. I didn't want to, but my husband at the time did. So then it's like, I've never been able to buy a house again. I had the resources. I had down payment. I have had $20,000 in the bank. Back when houses were $100,000, that would be a 20% down payment plus the price of the whoever has to pay the inspection or closing costs or whatever. So what do you do when you lose the opportunity 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 3 years ago to buy a home under $200,000? Decent home. I'm not saying, you know, people at church will say, nope, something's going to go wrong. I said, Dave Rance talks about emergency fund. You know, if I had a house right now and the fridge went out, the plumbing went out, would I have emergency fund to do it? Would I might put it on a credit card? Yeah. Would I have emergency fund to pay off the credit card? Yeah. Maybe not all the way if it was something huge like $7,000, but it would definitely get fixed. But if you don't own the house, I'm not going to hire plumbers. I'm not going to replace all your appliances. I'm not going to put on the carpet. My neighbors' pockets are full, rent is low. They did do all that remodel, replace the appliances, all the stuff they did on their own, place the washer and dryers, because they're tired of waiting, you know. But sometimes you have to get permission or prove like that when you move out and then you watch in the cameras that you're taking a fridge. You have to prove that that is actually my fridge, my $3,000 Samsung fridge or whatever. So I said I was going to cry, but I ended up bickering instead. Or bickering, complaining, contemplating. I said I was going to cry, so I didn't do that yet. So I'm like crocheting here. So I was going to say I was going to talk to God and the universe about what I love. I think I love doing naturopathic medicine. I want to do notary and signing agent, and I want to do doula. And I don't want to necessarily get called to a lot of births in the middle of the night unless they are in within 10 miles of my house. I'm not even joking. Like, okay, 30 minutes. Because I'm thinking of some hospitals that are near here that I heard are potentially better than the ones here. So I'm going to say, go see what you could do. 30 miles, not even 30-minute drive, 30 miles. I don't know what to do about Washington State, though. I have to fix it. I don't have a real address up there. I might ask my friend if I can use their address for a place, but I don't want to. I don't want to pay $99 a month for like a Regis, but I'm considering doing a Regis where you can go to Portland, Los Angeles, Annapolis, Eugene, Oregon, like all these, like Seattle, freaking Tokyo. I heard that Regis you can do some where you can travel with it. That'd be awesome. I'm not sure how well that works in a rural area, but one person I knew that didn't like, or some people they got the mail service and they had their mail forward and they were still charging a credit card, like, was it $30 a month or $300 a month or something ridiculous to get their mail forwarded, and then they're like, you can't just come and get your mail. So I talked to someone who loved it here at her office before she got an office. She actually used the office space. She loved it, and I feel like she had a permanent office space too. She didn't have like a room share where you come in 2-3 times a week. She actually had a space for $300 a month or something. And she's like, yeah, I'm smart enough. I don't have my mail sent there, or I don't have my mail sent here. Other people I was talking about, they're like, why are you paying for an office? This doctor's like, oh, I just work from home and I use one of the postal suites, like, unit such and such as my address. Now, you cannot do that at the USPS. They were using a private company. But I'm like, some of the things wanted me to use a address, like insurance company, Medicaid. They wanted me to have a physical address that wasn't my home. So people keep telling me they're using their home and that I'm stupid. But I don't know. I mean, I've been screwed over by, seems like everything. So I need to shift the universe like this. My friend said that this month would be trying, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm lefty, I'm backwards sometimes. When it's trying, like black cats, you just take advantage of it. Broken mirror, you take advantage of it. You get positive energy out of something superstitious. Like, you get positive energy. Or if I went to medical school and became a doctor and then worked at the grocery store at Kroger and Target giving out food samples like the Costco lady, and then I got a job making pizzas. That's what a lot of people do in undergrad and in grad school. Like, they do those jobs. If they're doing medical, then they do like caregiving or, hospital reception staff, or scribes and stuff. But I had to do it backwards out of necessity because I had a hard time finding a job with somebody unless I knew somebody. And the job market is harsh. I've applied for so many jobs, and I see the same jobs posted still a year later on Indeed. They have to pay for that, as far as I know. And some of the jobs are 4 in the morning in these ridiculous times, and I'm saying to myself, really? I offer to do this job, and you won't hire me? I could walk there, So some of these places, I'm like, if all else fails, I could walk or take a cheap Uber because it's that close to my house. If I was my son, I'd probably get it. Like, if I just said, oh, I volunteered in one place, I have this kind of high school stuff, period. I got more jobs like that too when I was younger. Didn't have all this education and experience and confusion and pages of assessments on Indeed and all these skills. But it is what it is. Here's my other project. I have this lavender. I don't know why I ordered lavender oil in my Amazon cart. I have this. It's supposed to be an apron. I was thinking of actually making it into a dress instead. And then I have more. What is this? What the heck? Oh, you know what? I totally forgot about this. This is a problem. This is like hoarding. The only problem with me and a hoarder is that oh my god, yeah, this is like hoarding. I forgot I bought this fabric. I was going to make a swimsuit. boyfriend's place of school clothes, so, and I even got matching thread and elastic. Oh, I already had elastic. I don't know why I bought more elastic. I don't know, but I got a lot of thread. And, that was on Remnant, by the way. I usually don't buy full. I got thread. I need to fix these pants. Oh, that sweater needs to be fixed. It's not the exact color. I need to fix my sweatpants. So that's why I have that. You've seen my, then I was looking for these. Actually, I have some more. Here they are. Alright, I was looking for this to finish my bracelet, my necklace, and I thought I had more. There's no jump ring with this. This is crazy. I thought I had more, so these gold-plated ones, the clasp, it doesn't come, so if I make a bracelet or a necklace, you need to have a ring and then the clasp. So it only comes with a ring. I don't know what the heck you're supposed to do. And then there's this one I've never used. I bought one of these before. These are kind of cool. It always reminds me of a tongue ring. These are kind of cool. I might use this for my waist. And then there's this. I was gonna, if I use a clasp, again, it doesn't have a, is this gold or silver plated? I don't know what's under it. It might tarnish. It does, it has a place to put the string, but it also doesn't have a jump ring. I meant to buy a jump ring, so I couldn't find a silver. This was to fix my bracelet. So this is good. I was looking for this. It's right under me. I have a lot of projects, and that's another thing I love is my goal was to do a cooking food cart or uncooking, cooking like a raw food cart, or I should do raw, I mean, anyone can do vegan or vegan options, like do a raw food cart and then do a craft stand with postcards that I make from pictures that I take or draw with personal items like the satchels, the bags of herbs, lavender herbs. Those are simple. I mean, yeah, you could sell hand sanitizer. Like, you could sell a lot of stuff. And it was hard. I set up my one business, Trinket Health and Home LLC, to do a food cart that was also a gift stand that I couldn't figure out. But they have like gift boxes online that are like, you could package like food and soaps and shampoos and stuff that you make. And there is a gift box online order, which I consider doing because I'm like, I think of gift stores that sell like gums and chocolates. And I feel like if you did that, then you didn't need to do the health department stuff. Like if you sold, I mean, kind of like farmer's market, you don't necessarily need that in certain places, the health department to see if you have the sanitizer. But then it's like, what if you're making it and I mean, they're not going to, like the restaurant, use the dishpan with bleach to bleach the utensils, even though that would be sufficient. But for raw food, dehydrators, blenders, those things, some of that stuff should not be bleached because the plastic will fall apart and then you'll have plastic in the food. But it should be sanitized, and some of that cannot take high heat because it's not like a cooking pan or a metal pan like a pizza pan or a metal thing, whatever, cutter or whatever it is. So it was kind of weird to try to set it up because I couldn't do food and gifts at the same time, but at the same time, there's levels in Oregon where you can do like beverages, like you're selling sodas that are made by Pepsi, and you're selling Hershey candy bars. Like you're not. And then there's another level, like so you're selling prepackaged stuff, concessions, chips and stuff. And then there's the next one where you're using just water, so you're making coffee, teas, in a coffee pot, in a like hot water coming out into a thing with a tea bag. And then you have like cooked foods, and I'm not sure that includes meat or potato salad or something. You have like other foods, like maybe it's cold foods like sandwiches made of meat and stuff. And then so there's either 3 or 4, and then whatever the last one is, the foods you're cooking raw pork, sausages, you're making potato salad, you're making creams and sauces and chicken and eggs. That was a long time ago. I researched that. I had a whole packet that I was starting to fill out because I was going to make a conversion like my friend had a van conversion food cart that she would take to festivals. She was Native American, so she could take it easily to the Native American festivals. So my goal this week is to send out 100 letters to businesses where I'm going to share my contact information with these people in the 3 states, Maryland, Oregon, and Washington. I wanted to do Washington, D.C. That's going to be their license is only like $300, but you got to pay probably to send all of your board exam stuff. And they say online you have to live there. Like, what if I don't live there? Everyone's doing telehealth. What if I don't live there? I was like, what if I just get licensed in all the states that I could, and then I could run my own telehealth company? Like, keep that on your premonitions of Mia. Do the naturopathic license in all the states, or register in the states that are pre-licensed states, because you can work in a licensed state. It doesn't mean you're not licensed. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to be there. Like, you might not be able to have a brothel in Oregon, but you might be able to have one in Nevada. It's like they just haven't had the legislation and the group and a committee that's being paid to run the company to inspect to see if you have everything. So you could have an online state like Michigan and be licensed in Oregon and Washington, and you could still register with the state, and they'll tell you, maybe they don't even make you pay money, but some of them make you pay as a registered naturopath, but they'll have a list of what you can and cannot do. So in Oregon, I can do minor surgery, I can prescribe medications, I can order labs, but in Michigan, I might not be able to. I might be able to do supplementing, and it depends. Can I do hands-on? Like, how many times have you gone to a place where they give you a massage, like Chinese massage? Do they have Chinese licensed massage therapy? Do I ever see on the wall a medical sign that has their license? No, I haven't, but I didn't look that hard. But I wonder about some of those places. It's like sometimes the less education and credentials you have, it's easier to work, and you can make a lot of money. Just like big building, have a bunch of people working. You make a lot of money in tips. And then someone like me, you're paying a lot of money to keep your credentials, but then it's not so simple. The Chinese massage was simple, you got foot, head to toe, this. Yes, I want everything. Face, yes. Me, oh, naturopath, oh, this, oh, kids, oh, peds, oh, pediatrics, oh, this, oh, that, oh, you're notary, oh, then it's like people are like, forget it, I'm going to my primary care. I don't want to deal with you. But you didn't give me a chance. I don't want to pay you $200. But you just paid $200 to buy a pillow for your dog. Well, your dog's important, but you just bought one last month too. Like, maybe lay off for a minute. Just go take that to the dry cleaners, get a cover for it instead. So I have, I want to make, let me stand up. I want to make a dress out of this material. Someone at the farmer's market was selling, all their stuff was not Velcro, spandex, and I was like, that's disgusting. Like, all of their clothes, they had fancy, like, dresses and shirts and pants, and I was like, I only want to use natural fibers, and I'm wearing these clothes that are one size fits most, and, I'm so fat. Look, fill up my stomach. My stomach used to be really skinny. I was 50 pounds lighter just less than a year and a half ago. I don't know what happened to my weight. I told my partner when I lose weight, usually my breasts get smaller. So, like, warning. Warning, be healthier. That loose skin is, I showed you a couple items, mainly this pink tank top I have, and it has the fibers of the material. It was on sale at Nordstrom or something. The fibers of the material get all over the place. And in my eye. Like, so I don't like using this. Already my skin is sticking to it. I typically do cotton. This is rayon, only because I tried everything on and it fits. So that one size fits all, hippie clothes. I kind of want to take the, maybe put elastic on the back. You saw the elastic I bought. I mean, I'm still fat, whether you pull it in. I might as well just wear muumuus like I'm doing. Like I got this at the free bread place. It's like cotton. It smelled like old person died in it. I was scared. I got these at Columbia. They're huge. They're supposed to be like legging, jegging. They're huge. And see the I kept gaining weight, so I was like, don't return. I do not like returning stuff. I should have, because these were too big, and the other ones got a hole right in the butt before the first time I washed them. I wore them a couple times, like for a couple hours. These go out, so they're supposed to, I should probably weigh like 40 pounds more to wear the extra large at Columbia. So keep that in mind if you buy Columbia. Their clothes, the big sizes, not the plus size, but the regular size, I should have got a large, but a large might have actually been too small. So I have to roll them up to go out in public, or they will fall down. And then, so I want to take them in an inch, and I really want to turn them inside out and just like scallop, like just close that scallop. Because I look like, you know, those people on those jockeys or whatever that have those fat pants. You walk around like that. It's not attractive. They're too long. The color is awesome. But the size is messed up. I ordered some other big stuff with my daughter's artwork, and those are huge. But there again, if you're used to being a small and then your weight fluctuates and jumps to a large, extra large, like going from a 12 to a 16 is. I mean, my crotch didn't get longer, so I don't know what they're doing there, or people's stomachs do hang out like that, but the crotch for 12, size 12, if it's like that, maybe for 14, 16 you could go like that, but not like this. Because I'm walking around, I can't walk, you know, I can't move my legs, I can't exercise, it's not comfortable. You look in the mirror and it's not fitting right. You can try to pull it up, but then like the butt part isn't as loose as the front. Extra thing, I'm reading this book, and I just downloaded some resources, so now I'm on another wait list. That's how you get on wait list. You order free gifts, and they get you that way. Hopefully she doesn't sell my information. I do have a stack. It's stacks of stuff that I need to donate, or sorry, that I need to sell. So you sometimes see my items here. I need to sell this bra. I just washed it, so I need to put it up. It's just too small. My birthday is this month. My boyfriend's like, you need to go to Nordstrom, or I had a coupon for Victoria's Secret. Like, oh, you should go to Victoria's Secret. I'm like, no, I don't want to pay a lot. I was getting the Jillian O'Malley from Target. They don't sell them. So I used the stain stick here at the laundromat, and they don't have water, so you can't wet. The one I have, you're supposed to wet. There was brown. You know, my skin's brown. It's dirty, sweaty, and it comes off. I think probably more than if I was white. So I did the stain stick on all the parts that rub against my body. And it's not just my body being dirty. It's not, even if I'm clean, just because I have brown skin, stuff's going to flake out brown, you know. It's also clothing, like often, like there's red, like this is pink. That's not for my skin. So you wear that with a red shirt, and it rubs, and you got that ink transfer. So this is a cute bra. It's also got an underwire. So sometimes they say, it's a 38C, sometimes they keep it until you lose weight. But my boyfriend's not wanting the underwire, so then you got this floppy stuff going on here and the sweat. But then again, also metal. People say not to wear earrings in metal because of the electromagnetic fields, and that some of the books I read about that was like regular cell phones, you know, wireless phones have been used by the government, and walkie-talkies and satellites in space for a long time, but now all of us, even old people, have their own. So to talk about the meaning, I've gone to Quaker meeting before on mistake. I didn't know what a Quaker was. They call it friends. I thought you were weird because you call yourself friends, and I was like, yeah, I want friends. I need friends. But this place where my partner's family's been, they gave me a hard time. And today they did Zoom chat rooms or small rooms, and they got off fast. Like one lady's on the phone, and the other lady's like, okay, I gotta go. That first lady said, I gotta go. The other lady said, bye. And the guy's like, see ya. Like before, he's like, I didn't see you at the church service. I was like, I was there. Like, you didn't have your camera on. I was like, correct, because I had my profile picture. but it's still the same black-skinned person, you know? It's like I just didn't have my glasses on in the picture. Like, there's not that many people that's as young as me and have brown skin. There's nobody else my age or with my skin color. So it's been a lonely day because that ended abruptly as there were last week. The lady stayed on the chat and the man came in and we were on there for like a half an hour. I actually went to the car because it was bothering my partner was asleep, and so that was awkward because then they're getting so much information, and then the first thing they talk about is removing Confederate statues and could you come and have a vigil with us, and I'm like, it's good to have some change, but sometimes like you don't, for a stranger, you don't want the only thing they talk about is race and um, Confederate statues. Like that's how it would, like it's cool to think, okay, there's an ally or somebody who understands or has somebody who's making an effort to not just protest silently, but to us, or sometimes noisy, but to us to think of what the legislation should be, where it should be stored. So I did get that little pearl about what's next. You know, my mind rattles so much that, you know, I think about, you can't just, with the Black Lives Matters and the police violence and Breonna Taylor, what can you do? You stand up and say this is not right. But how can we make it right? And that's the thing. How can we make it right? How can we do restitution to Native Americans? How can we do restitution to people that built the railroads and the highways and all of the plantation houses in the South? Did the white people send their kids out there to make them rich? And the kids that come from trust funds from the 1700s, 1600s, that came for the hard work and the broken backs of slaves, of black people. And we were pushed out. You might have been able to buy your freedom. That was a big deal. Buy your freedom by working for yourself. You were working to pay for your own self. You know, and I'm a slave to my lenders right now from all the credit that I'm borrowing because I'm not able to find a job. So I am a modern day slave because I'm not able to own a house. Instead, I lived in the same house 10 years, public housing 16 years. The rent is approximately $1,700 a month. What kind of house would I have been able to buy 10, 11 years ago for $1,700? There was a house down the street that had an in-ground pool. That the estimated mortgage was what, $1,400 a month. The people at the old church say, you're not going to be able to pay for trash. You're not going to be able to pay cable. You don't know me. You are not my accountant. You have not looked. Like, for all I know, I could have $300 million in my bank. I could be a trust fund baby. It's like, I walk around in this dress, looking sloppy. This dress was not necessarily cheap. I walk around in my Doc Martens, you know. You see people. No, I'm not walking around with a $5,000 pair of shoes from Nordstrom. Or I'm not walking around with a Birkin purse for $50,000. It's not necessary. Not right now. But when I'm old and my body's wearing out, and I find out the Birkin has a nice, you know, handle, or Doc Marten backpack that costs $200, that's so beautiful, and it would fit my iPad. Like, when I'm old and I want to still work and take care of you all, and you guys finally start paying me, then I might be having a Birkin and the old Mercedes, like my mom wanted, the old red convertible. I might have it in memory of her, build a tennis court in a poor community and teach little black kids and little Hispanic kids to play tennis. Why not? Little poor kids, poor white kids. I'm not saying that the black and Hispanic, I just wanted to add poor as a third group because people thought socioeconomic skin color, they combine that to dark skins. Where's my phone? Gotta go by.